Okay, we are going to start with our salsa for the tortas. These tortas, the more popular torta is a torta de camarón, de salmón, or you can put whatever you want. I like to make them with tuna. Everybody makes them different. Nobody's is right and nobody's is wrong. In the comments below, let me know what your favorite torta is. If it's tuna, if it's camarones, if it's salmon, what do you like? Let us know in the comments. Okay, guys, we're gonna start with the salsa for the tortas, okay? I use garlic. I'm gonna use my little trusty garlic peeler here. If you don't have one of these, you need to get one. They're wonderful. I put the garlic inside and then you just roll it and it comes out peeled. And then I just like to cut off the little tail. And that's it. I love this thing. Normally I peel all my garlics when I bring garlic home. I like to peel it all and put it in a jar and keep it in the refrigerator. That's why I like that. See how easy that is? No fuss. Just like that. Okay, we're going to put 2 garlic cloves in there. And then this, you just rinse it with water and put it in the drawer. The rest of the ingredients, we're going to add 2 chili. I like it a little spicy, not too spicy. Not burn your tongue off spicy. 2 chiles jalapenos, 2 Roma tomatoes that I like to get the core out because it just does not puree the way I like it. So I just get the core out with my tomato core. And next we have our chile guajillo. I'm not making a very big quantity of these. These were 6 of them. I will list the recipe below, guys. Don't worry about that. I washed them, dried them, seeded them, and deveined them. Okay? So I just cut them in smaller pieces just to make it easier to blend. And I've been wanting to share with you guys how I keep my chile guajillo. Normally they come in a little pack. And they're not going to stay fresh like that. I like to get one of these acrylic airtight containers. And I just put my chiles in there. So I just thought I'd share that with you. Okay, now we're going to add some salt. Easy on the salt because the tuna tends to be a little salty. And so does the shrimp that you use, the dried shrimps. Very salty. And then we're going to put some water to cover. I'm going to pop this on the stove and I'm going to boil this for about 10 minutes, okay? So I'm going to get this started and then we'll move on to the tortas. Okay, guys, we have the tomato, the chile guajillo, serranos, and the garlic. We're going to pop them in the blender. I did let this cool completely just so that it doesn't pop up in the blender or explode in the blender. And you can leave the skins in there and everything because we are going to sieve this anyway, so. Okay, everything in the blender. And we're also going to add 2 fresh garlics in there. And we're going to add a quarter of an onion. And some more salt, a little bit more salt. Okay, then we are going to blend this until finely chopped, okay? We want this very finely pureed. So we're going to let this go for a few minutes. Everything is nicely pureed. Now what we're going to do is we're going to run this through a sieve because you will get some skin still from the chiles and we don't want that in there. Let me take this out of the way. Okay, I put this in a clear bowl so you can see. We're just going to run this through the sieve. And then just scrape it across. See how all the skins stay behind? And this is what you want. You don't want this in your salsa. I hope you can get a good shot of that. And you just sieve it through until it's all completely out. I'm going to pop y'all over to the stove. And don't use your good kitchen towels for this because this chile will stain. This is why I'm using paper towels. Just a little tip there. Okay, and this is what we have, okay? This is the salsa that we're going to cook now on the stove. We're going to fry this up with a little bit of onion. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of oil. About a tablespoon, a full tablespoon. We're going to wait till it gets a little hot. and we're gonna add our onions. That last little piece of the onion that we had, of that half onion, we are going to add it in. Okay, we're gonna let the oil get a little bit of flavor, a couple of sprinkles of salt. Not too much, because we've been adding salt in the whole recipe as we're going. We're adding a little bit at a time. So you don't want to overdo it on one thing. Okay, we're going to wait till these get a little translucent. And then we're going to add our chile guajillo that we just pureed in the blender. And then you got to be careful, because when you add the chile, this will splatter a little bit. So just be careful with that. And this doesn't have to be too overcooked, okay? Because they're going to continue to cook here with the chile. Now we're going to add in our chile. You can hear that sizzle. And this may seem a little watery right now, but we're going to reduce it. We're going to let it to continue to cook for about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to taste a little bit. There's a little bit more salt. And that's what I mean. You have to season in layers, because once you put it in and it's too much, you can't take it out. So just add a little bit at a time. That should be good. Okay, we're going to bring this up to the boil, and we're going to let it sit for about 15 minutes. Okay guys, we're going to do the egg whites now. I'm going to show you the tuna. This is a can of tuna. You can use the pouch, you can use the water, the oil one. It doesn't matter. It's your choice. Now, you have to drain this, or this will mess up your egg whites and your egg yolks, okay? You see how much water is in this bowl? Okay, and this is what you want to get out of there. You don't want this. I've had this sitting up here for about an hour. I opened the can and then I just put it in this little strainer so that everything can drain. You could even do it the night before. Okay, but the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to whip up our egg whites. And for the tuna, I have some very finely minced onion, very finely minced, the 4 egg yolks, and some breadcrumbs. You can use seasoned breadcrumbs. That is up to you. It's going to change the flavor a little bit, of course, depending on the breadcrumbs that you use. It's probably best just to use the plain breadcrumbs, okay? So we're going to start with the egg whites. I'm going to do this in a clear bowl so you can see. I've had these in the refrigerator because they will lift up quicker if they're cold. Make sure that your bowls are grease-free, that your attachments are grease-free, because otherwise your egg whites won't lift, okay? So we're going to do this, and then I'll continue to show you what we're going to add. Okay, that's what we want. Stiff peaks. Just like that. Now, I'm going to set this aside real quick. I'm going to bring over another bowl. We are going to add our tuna. And get this out of the way. Okay, we are going to add our tuna, our onion, and our breadcrumbs. Okay, we're just going to mix this all up together. Make sure you break up that tuna. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Okay, give it a good mix. Okay, now that everything is incorporated, we're going to add our yolks. Now, on this step, you need to use this right away. You need to fry up the tortas right away. This will not hold because it will start diluting. The egg whites will lose their fluffiness, their air, and then you'll just have a bunch of runny mess. So once you do this, you need to have a skillet on the stove with about 1/4 inch of oil and ready to fry them. They'll hold for a few minutes, but you really want to use this right away, because you don't have to put them in the salsa right away. You can just leave them on the side, but just make sure that you fry them up right away so that your batter doesn't get ruined. This is done. We are going to add our egg yolks to the egg whites, one at a time. Oops, two at a time. I'm going to let that one go to waste, so when it busts like that, just get yourself a little spatula. Okay, now we're gonna stop with the mixer, with hand beater, and we're gonna do the remaining by hand. We're gonna take our tuna mixture and we're gonna pour it in a little bit at a time, and then we're gonna fold it in, okay? Just try gently. And that's enough. I'm gonna flip y'all over to the stove and we're gonna get started with frying these little patties up. Okay guys, here I have a small skillet with about a 1/4 inch of oil. I have it on medium heat. You don't want it too hot. I have a little cookie sheet where I'm gonna put my tortas as they're coming out of the grease, with the napkin and just on top of a cookie sheet. If you don't have this, a plate with a napkin is fine. You don't need all that. Here we have our batter, and we're gonna be dropping them into our oil, just a couple at a time. You don't want to overcrowd, just about like that. Don't overcrowd the skillet. See how it's bubbling? You don't want it too hot because you want everything to cook all the way through. I'm just going to put 3 so you can see, and then you just spray them a little bit with the grease, with the oil, so it makes it easier to flip. They don't fall apart on you when you're flipping them. And they just take a couple of minutes on each side. I'm going to give you a close-up. See how this little piece, you want to get this out or it'll get black. They cook up pretty quick. So what I do is I get my, I get 2 spatulas. Do this however you find easy for yourself, okay? I use one to help me flip over the other one, just so that they don't splash. I'm going to leave that one there just a little bit longer. We put that one in last. And you can tell by the edges, you start getting a little bit of toastiness around the edges, and that's when you know that they're ready. Just be careful, don't let them splash. That's why I like to hold them. See how pretty they look? And I still have the salsa, which you can't see from here, but I still have it bubbling, simmering on the stove, reducing. Okay, and then just after a couple of minutes, you just check the other side. Just leave them a little bit longer because they're still a little light. And that's it. I mean, it's a few steps, but they're so delicious. Okay, that should be good. And you can tell just by pressing down that they're not soft anymore. And that's how I can tell that they're ready on the inside. Okay, I'm going to take this out. Drain it just a little bit. Put it on your tray. Okay, and then do the next ones. And then just keep going. Out of the way, and let me show you the finished tortas. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna let these sit here for a little bit until the salsa is ready, and then I will be back. Okay guys, we're back over to the skillet. As you can see, this reduced down nicely, and it's very thick on its own. Not overly thick, but you know, thick enough. Now I'm gonna turn it back on, just put it on low. I'm gonna add our tortas in there. Okay, and then you're just going to let them simmer for about 5 or 10 minutes, just till they release their flavor. I'm going to hold a few back, just in case somebody doesn't like the red sauce. I just keep some back, and then they can serve themselves. Now at this point, I do add a little bit of cilantro. I know cilantro, some people love it, some people hate it. If you don't like it, leave it out. And that's it. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? It just needs a few minutes there cooking down, and that's it. Turn the heat off, and that's it. I'm going to give you a close-up. Look at that. Delicious. Okay guys, I'm going to plate these up. Okay guys, here's our final plate. I did hold some back because sometimes people don't like the sauce on top, or you just want to save them for another day. But this is how I present mine, and you can put it with some, you know, some rice and beans, or you know, whatever your sides are for that day, or just like that. I mean, it's a wonderful dish. Okay, hopefully that's a better view right there. Now I am going to break one of these open so that you can see what they look like on the inside. I'm going to give you a close-up. Just like that. and they are nice and moist. Of course, they're cooked all the way through, but they have a lot of flavor. And they're, you know, still nice and crispy. So that's why I like to serve sometimes the sauce on the bottom and the tortas on top, so they don't get mushy with the sauce. But this is what they look like. And that's the recipe for the day. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. Go and follow us on our Facebook page and Instagram at Virtual Kitchen with Laura. Go leave some comments over there, guys. And please leave some comments down below. The recipe and all the items that I used will be linked below. And that's going to do it for us today, guys. Bye.